Huffman encoding. Okay, so why this Huffman encoding is used? The major application of Huffman encoding is data encoding and data compression. These are the two major applications of Huffman encoding. So since we know if we there is some message and if we want to perform any kind of operation, like if we want to perform encoding or data compression or data transmission, then first of all you have to digitize it. You have to convert into the digital form. You have to convert into the binary form. Okay, so we will do that part. Then we will check how many number of bits are required to for in this conversion process. So we will understand this Huffman encoding directly by understanding the problem. So let's see, the question given to us is a is equal to 50, b is equal to 10, c is equal to 30, d is equal to 5, e is equal to 3, f is equal to 2. This is a message which consists of 100 characters. The total number of characters in this message are 100. Okay, so in these characters the frequencies are given in the message that a is coming 50 times, b is coming 10 times, e is coming 3 times, c is coming 30 times, f is coming 2 times, and d is coming 5 times. So in order to perform any kind of operation like encoding, compression, or data transmission, so first of all we have to digitize this message. We have to convert this message into the digital form, into the binary form. So how to do that? How to do this encoding into binary form? So we can do this using various methods. So first of all we will see basic method, basic encoding technique, which is ASCII encoding technique. Since we know that the range in ASCII encoding is what? 0 to 127. So from 0 to 127 it supports 128 characters. Okay, since it supports 128 characters, so the minimum bits required to represent, if it, let's suppose there is a character which is representing a 127. Okay, so how many number of bits are required to represent this 127? So bits will be required, because how we will represent this 128? 2 की power 7, so 7 bits required. Okay, so in order to represent this 127, which is the last digit of this range, this range, so the bits required to represent this 127 is 7. So how I will represent this 127? 1 2 3 4 1 2 3, using this number. Okay, since we are having this message, so A, B, C, D, E, F, they all are represented using 7 bits if we are using this ASCII encoding technique. Okay, because in ASCII encoding technique each character is represented by 7 bits. So our message is having total 6 characters. So these 6 characters, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, E, F, they all are represented using 7 bits. And since we know that there are total 100 characters, so how many bits will be required to encode this message using ASCII encoding? We will see that. We can see that in ASCII encoding, one character is represented using 7 bits. So in our message there are how many characters? There are 100 characters. So how many bits? 7 into 100, this is equal to 700. So 700 bits are required to encode this message using ASCII encoding technique. Okay, so I hope you all have understood this point. So we can see total number of 700 bits are required for the encoding of this message. So let's see any other method, since this is a very small question and we know here everything about this message, that there are total 6 types of characters. If we try to represent this message using some number of bits, as per our understanding, as per our knowledge, then we can see that our message is having six characters. So there are total six types of characters: A B C D E F. So we can represent these six types of characters by this way: A B C D E F. So total there are six types of characters. If let's say there is how minimum number of bits are required to represent these six characters, we can find this by this way, that if can we represent this A B C D E F, this six character, using one bit. We have to check that 2 की power 1 is equal to 2, means using one bit we can represent only two characters. 2 the power 2 is equal to 4, means with using 2 bits we can represent only 4 characters. With 2 की power 3 is equal to 8, that means using 3 bits we can represent 8 characters, and we are having only 6 characters. So that means we can represent our characters A to F using this 3 bits. Okay, I hope you understand this one. This is a very easy point and very good important point. So I will be representing our characters in the message using 3 bits: 0 0 0, 0 0 1, 0 1 0, 0 1 1, 1 0 0, 1 0 1. This is our message. And we have successfully, uh, we have uniquely identified these characters. Okay, we have successfully uniquely identified these characters. Since we can see here in this method, one character is represented using 3 bits. And how many total number of characters are there in our message? 100 characters are there. So how many bits required? 100 into 3. This is equal to 300. So 300 is less than 700. 700 was there in our ASCII method, and 300 is the answer using this method. So this method is comparatively better than the previous method. Okay. So now we will see how to how many number of bits will be required using Huffman encoding, because these two are the methods, these two we can say are the feasible method, possible method, but these are the not the these are not the optimal solution, but we want an optimal encoding technique. So now we will understand the Huffman encoding, how this Huffman encoding gives us the optimal solution. I will write this message once again, because now we will be solving this question using Huffman encoding. A is equal to B, B is equal to 10, C is equal to 30, D is equal to 5, E is equal to 3, F is equal to 2. So this is the message. Okay, so first of all we have to understand few rules. The first rule is, the first the first step of algorithm says select two minimum elements. Okay, first of all we have to select the two minimum elements. So what are the two minimum elements? So just write this question in this form: A B C D E F. 50, 10, 30, 5, 3, 2. Smallest are F and E. So first step is select the two minimum elements. Second step is just a smaller element at left hand side in the tree, and larger element at right hand side. Okay, so I have taken the two smallest elements. So smaller element is F, so it is on the left hand side. Larger element is E, because it is 3, it is 2. So we will do what? Third step is add them, and whatever you are getting after adding it, just include that number into our list. So after adding 2 3, what we will get? We are getting 5. So we got a new character, we got a new file whose size is 5. So what I will do, I will include it here. Okay, I will include it here in the table. But what are the two elements that are, what are the two characters which are merged, which are added? These and this. So they will not be used further, so I will delete them, I will cut them. Okay, so remember these points, how you are going to solve this question. So after doing this, I will include this 5 into our table. I did that. Now what to do? Again I will search for the two smallest elements. When I will see two smallest elements are this D and this 5, both are 5. The rest are 50, 10, 30, which are greater, but we have to select two minimum. So we can see that 5 and 5 are the minimum. So one 5 is already here, we can take another 5. We can write this d here also, we can write this d here also, no problem, because both are same. So let's write this d here. So it is 5. So let's again add it. It is 10. So I will cut this also, I will cut this also, and I will include this 10 here, because I have to include the new number into the list. So I did that. This is 10. Okay, I did that. Now once again just see what are the two minimum elements. So two minimum elements are this b and this. So now write this b here. I will write 10 and I will add them. This is 20. So delete this also, select this. What's the new number? 20 is the new. I will include it into the table. Included. Now what to do? Now again we will see that this 20 and 30, this and this are the two minimum. So 20 is smaller, so it will be written on the left hand side, and c is bigger, so I will write it here. Okay, now I will add it. Now this is 50. New file is there, so I will delete this also, this also, I will include 50. So what are the two left? This a and this 50. So I will write a here, which is 50, and add it here. So everything is now being, all the elements are being merged, they are added. So we have successfully did this thing. So these are the three steps which we will be doing. First of all, we will be selecting the minimum element with the minimum frequency. Then a smaller element will be at the left hand side of the tree, and the larger element will be at the right hand side of the tree. Then we will be adding the two minimum elements, and then I will include them in the message, okay, in the original message table. And then again I will select the two minimum process, two minimum elements, and similarly I will keep on doing this thing. Then what is the next process? What is the next step of the algorithm? Next step of the algorithm, I will be assigning 0 to the left child edge, and I will be assigning 1 to the right child edge. Okay, I will be assigning 0 to the left child edge, 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 1. I have did this. Now what to do? What is the fifth step? Fifth step says calculate the total number of bits required for the character, and for that we have to calculate the coding. So how to see the coding? First of all, write all these numbers: a, b, c, d, e, f. Okay, write this thing in such way. Okay, so arrange all these characters in such a way, and then see from the root. Okay, see from the root and see what path is required, what coding path is required to reach each and every character. If you from this root, how you will reach to a, using which path coding? Using 0. Okay, what about b? 1 0 0 1 0 0. What about c? Where is c? This is 1 1 1 1. Okay, what about D? D is here. So it is 1, and then it will see how I will be writing all these codes. So we have seen A, how to write A, how to write B, how to write C. We will be standing on the root and we will be checking this. Now let's check for D. D will be D. This is will be 1 0 1 0. This is 1 0 1 0. Similarly, you can check for E, 1 0 1 1 1, and this will be 1 0 1 1 0. Okay, so in the previous method of ASCII encoding, in the second method we have seen, in the ASCII encoding, the minimum number of bits required to represent each character was 7, and in the second method the number of bits required to represent each character was 3. So here what you can see, it is the number of bits are varying. For A, how many bits are required? Just 1 bit is required. What about B? 3 bits. C, 2 bits. D, 4 bits. E and F, 5 bits. Okay, so we can see there is a variation. This is the advantage of this method. So now let's see what is the frequency count of 50. The frequency count of 50 is 50 into number of bits. Now I am calculating the number of bits required to represent the A. Okay, so this is 50 frequency count into how many bits are there? Only one bit is there, that is, which is 0. Now what about B? It is 10. Frequency count is 10. And what about number of bits required to represent B is what? It is 3. What about C? It is 30 into 2. What about D? D is 5 into 4. Then 3 into 5. Then 5F is 2 into 5. So now we will calculate all this. Then this will be 50, this will be 30, 60, 20, 15, 10. Calculate all. This will be 185. So 185 bits are required to represent this message. Which message? This message. Okay, so we can see this is the best method at comparison to the previous two methods, because in the first method of ASCII the 700 bits were required, in the second method 300 bits are required, but now in this method only 185 bits are required. Okay, so by this way you can easily solve all these questions. So this is the one question that can be asked in this examination about Huffman encoding. The second question that can be asked is what is the average bits required to represent each character? Okay, so this will be calculated by, the formula is average bits required to represent each character is equal to the total bits required to represent the message is what, 185 divided by total characters. Total characters is what, 100. So this is 100, so this will be 1.85. So the answer of average bit will be equal to 1.85 bits per characters are required to represent each character. Okay, this is the average bits. So this is the second type of question that can be asked. Third type of question can be asked is equal to transmission time. The formula of transmission time is equal to message divided by bandwidth. Okay, message divided by bandwidth. So message, here we know message is equal to what, 185 divided by bandwidth. So what you can see here, that transmission time is directly proportional to the message. What does this mean? If the message size is high, then the transmission time is high, which means process is good or bad. Process will be bad because of the transmission time. It is taking transmission time very high, then process is not good, it is an inefficient process. But if the message size will be less, then the transmission time will be less, then the process will be good. So what we can see in Huffman coding, the message size is only 185. Since the message size is small, the transmission time will also be small. So Huffman coding is better for transmission time also. And if you compare with the previous method, the message size was 700 and 300. So since the message size was very high, so the transmission time will be very high also. So these types of question can be asked in Huffman encoding. So I will be discussing one more numerical of Huffman encoding in the next video. Till now, thank you so much.